Thank you all again so much for being here. My name is Doyle Gurungadas, and I'm here with several other co-hosts who are helping to produce these events. This is the first of two bonus sessions that we're offering. We just finished a 10-part Pathways to Perfection series covering the 9 processes of devotional service. And as this series ended during the month of Kartik, we wanted to continue the nectar flowing with sweet pastimes from Krishna Lila. And we thought that no one better could be found to start this series off than the illustrious Deena Bandhu Prabhu. Many of us know and are aware of Deena Bandhu Prabhu's amazing devotion and ability to recount Krishna Lila with extraordinary vividness and depth and realization. He's renowned and adored all over the world. He's a disciple of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. He's led temple congregations and projects in the US, Colombia, and India. He opened the first temple in Dallas and served as the temple president of the Portland Temple. He's preached in Spanish in Colombia, is fluent in several languages, and has served as the temple president of Krishna Balaram Mandir in Vrindavan. He's also very well known for his work and the restoration of Vrindavan. In fact, the first time I went to India, Prabhu, you wouldn't remember me. I was just a face in the crowd. But the first time I went to India in 2004, I was in a yatra with you and a few busloads of devotees that went to Vrindavan, and you told stories there, and we got darshan of Vrindadevi, and it was very, very sweet. And so many other services, well-known, beloved Brijbasi and resident of the land of Krishna. And we're so grateful to have you with us during this holy month. We're aware, some of you may not know, that Deena Bandhu Prabhu recently has not been feeling very well. He tested and confirmed it is not COVID, so he doesn't have COVID, but just in general, not feeling well of illness. He even had to cancel a very large event he had scheduled yesterday, but he's feeling better, and because he knows that many devotees would be here wanting to hear him, and he's with us today despite overcoming just a recent illness. We're so grateful for you, Prabhu. Deena Bandhu Prabhu will speak for about an hour, and depending upon the flow, we may have some time for questions. And so if you'd like to go ahead and send your questions into Yashoda Dalal Prabhu privately on the chat, he will field the questions if we have time for questions at the end. So you can go ahead and send in your questions, and if we have time, we'll ask them. And if not, then Krishna will hear your questions, and he will arrange for the answer somewhere in your life. And we ask for the questions to be pertinent to the Leela that's taking place here. And so questions that are pertinent to the specific Leela and topics being discussed by Deena Bandhu Prabhu. So without any further ado, thank you so much for being here. We turn the microphone over to you, and we're just so grateful to have you with us. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. I'm also very honored to be here with all the devotees of Bhakti Center in New Jersey and everybody else who's tuned in from everywhere. It's a great honor and pleasure for me to be here to serve by speaking something about our Lord Krishna, especially on this very special day of Gopastami. And our sincere desire is that all of you are safe. I just this morning got myself tested because I had fever and body aches and a whole bunch of other things, but the test came negative, so they think it was just UTI or something. So, but anyway, I feel much better today. So anyway, before we start, we're going to sing one of Prabhupada's favorite songs about Vrindavan. So if you have your devices or your songbooks, you can sing along in your home. Jaya Radhe, Jaya Krishna, Jaya Vrindavan. Jaya Radhe, Jaya Krishna, Jaya Vrindavan. Jaya Radhe, Jaya Krishna, Jaya Vrindavan. Sri Govinda Gopi Nata Madana Mohan. Sri Govinda Gopi Nata Madana Mohan. Shama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Shama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Kalindi Jamuna Jaya Jaya Mahava Kalindi Jamuna Jaya Jaya Mahava Keshigata Bamsi Vata Dvadashakana Keshigata Bamsi Vata Dvadashakana Jasabalila Koilo Srinandananda Jasabalila Koilo Srinananda Srinanda Yashoda Jaya Jaya Gopaga Srinanda Yashoda Jaya Jaya Gopaga Sri Ramari Jaya Jaya Dinu Vatsaga Sri Ramari Jaya Jaya Dinu Vatsaga Jaya Vrisabhanu Jaya Kirtida Sundari Jaya Vrisabhanu Jaya Kirtida Sundari Jaya Purnamasi Jaya Abhira Nagari Jaya Purnamasi Jaya Abhira Nagari Jaya Jaya Gopi Swara Vrindavanama Jaya Jaya Gopi Swara Vrindavanama Jaya Jaya Krishna Saka Bhattu Dvijara Jaya Jaya Krishna Saka Bhattu Dvijara Jaya Rama Gata Jaya Rohini Nanda Jaya Rama Gata Jaya Rohini Nanda Jaya Jaya Vrindavana Vasijata Jaya 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 Vrindavana Vasijata Jaya Jaya Dvija Patni Jaya Naga Kanyaga Jaya Dvija Padni Jaya Naga Kanyaga Bhakti Tejahara Pailo Govinda Chara Bhakti Tejahara Pailo Govinda Chara Sri Rasa Mandala Jaya Jaya Radha Shyam Sri Rasa Mandala Jaya Jaya Radha Shyam Jaya Jaya Rasa Lila Sarva Manoram. Jaya Jaya Rasa Lila Sarva Manoram. Jaya Jaya Jwala Rasa Sarva Rasa Sa. Jaya Jaya Jwala Rasa Sarva Rasa Sa. Parakiya Bhave Ja Brajete Pracha. Parakiya Bhave Ja Brajete Pracha. Shri Janava Pada Padma Koriya Smaram. Shri Janava Pada Padma Koriya Smaram. Deena Krishna Dasa Kohe Nama Sankirtan. Deena Krishna Dasa Kohe Nama Sankirtan. Jayo Radhe Jayo Krishna Jaya Vrindavan. Jayo Radhe Jayo Krishna Jaya Vrindavan. Sri Govinda Gopi Nata Madana Mohan. Sri Govinda Gopi Nata Madana Mohan. Jaya Vrindavan Dham, 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 Jaya Vrindavan Dham. Jai Vrindavan Dham, Vrindavan Dham, Jaya Vrindavan Dham, Jaya Vrindavan Dham. Vrindavan Dham, Jaya Vrindavan Dham, Jaya Vrindavan Dham, Jaya Vrindavan Dham. Shri Brajabhumi Vrindavan Dham ki Jai Jai Sri Radhe Shyam. So again, we'd like to welcome you all to this evening, or I guess it's your morning. For me, it's evening time here. Anyway, today's katha on this very special day of Gopastami. I even have my cowherd, my cow chatter on today. So shouldn't my screen be the big screen? At least on my ICU dial Garanga.
I think you see me because you are the speaker, so we all see you though.
Okay. All right. Anyway, we're very honored to be here on this holy day to share with you Krishna's pastimes. And we're all very thankful to His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, who brought us Vrindavan. He left this wonderful place. We're all relishing. I've never spent so much time in Vrindavan. We've been locked in here with Krishna Balaram for 9 months now. We're always traveling here and there, but somehow we've been locked in here very wonderfully with Krishna and Balaram for 9 months. And we understand how it's just unimaginable that Prabhupada left this wonderful place. But out of His mercy, He came to save us so that we could all relish this Hari Katha. Om Agyana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chaksurun Militam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namah. Sri Chaitanya Manubhistam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Sayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Aradanaschanandandai Ridamyache Puna Puna Srimad Rupa Padam Bhujo Dulisyam Janma Janmani Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sri Vasudhi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Vanchakalpatrubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Vevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. So all of us just celebrated the wonderful pastime of Govardhan Puja. So that was on the first day of the bright half of Kartik. Today is Astami, so for Krishna held the hill for 7 days. So now it's Astami. So all the cowherd boys, because little boys, they like to tease too much. Especially this is their habit. So all the cowherd boys were teasing Krishna. Are, you just held a hill for 7 days and you're just taking out the calves? We just sang Denu Vatsagan, Sridhar Madhit Denu Vatsagan. Vatsa means calves. So Krishna was taking out the calves, that's near the village. But to take out the cows means to go far away. And that's a big upgrade, as we say nowadays. So you're just taking out the cows, you're a big man, you lifted the hill. So they were teasing too much, because little boys are like that, they like to tease too much. So next morning, Krishna wouldn't get out of his bed. He was all bundled up with his head covered. And Mother Yasoda was trying to wake him up. So, come on, Lala, get up, Lala. Come on, Lala, get up, Lala. So, what's the matter, Lala? You have a toothache? You have a toothache in your head, Lala? You have a toothache in your stomach, Lala? Anyway, mothers are very expert how to get the things out of the child. So anyhow, Mother Yasoda, she got Krishna to explain the situation. That he's just taking out the calves and the boys are teasing him too much. So she went to Nanda Baba. And Nanda Baba said, let's go discuss it with Sandalya Rishi, just like Vasudeva in Mathura, his guru is Garga Muni. Nanda Baba's guru is Sandalya Rishi, the disciple of Garga Rishi. So they went to Sandalya Rishi, and Sandalya Rishi said, well, today is Gopastami. This is a good day to give charge of all the cows to Krishna. But Mother Yasoda does not agree, because he'll go far in the forest. There may be so many thorns and so many things. And he'll be far away from home. What will happen to him? I'll be so worried. Mother Yasoda does not agree. So then Sandalya Rishi said, well, there's a special black blanket called Kali Kamri. Kali Kamri. That black blanket was woven by Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva. All the threads this way were by Lord Shiva. All the threads this way were by Lord Brahma. Anyone who wears that blanket, he will not be disturbed by hunger, by thirst, by cold, by wind, by heat, by tiredness. Nothing will bother him. So then Nanda Baba said, well, where can we get such a Kali Kamri? So then Sandalya Rishi thought for a minute. He said, well, actually, Vrindavan has one. Because remember, in the Radhastami Leela, Radharani was lying in a little bed with this black blanket coming out either end, and Krishna crawled over to see her. And when she understood Krishna's face was right in front of her face, because her eyes were closed, shut, blind. But then she understood, she opened her eyes and saw Krishna's smiling face, and everyone was shocked. Narad Muni had suggested that they bring Krishna and that her blindness would be cured. So our Vrindavan, he's got one. We have to get it from him somehow. But Nanda Baba, he's a king. Vrindavan is a king. How can one king go and beg from another king? It's not possible to go beg from another king. So then Sandili says, all right, in order to do this Gopastami function, first we have to do Kanya Puja. So the best Kanya is Radharani. Kanya means little girl. The best little girl is Radharani. We'll do Kanya Puja, and I'll ask for that Kali Kamri as Dakshina. That's a good idea. Everyone was very happy. So they all went to Barsana and they performed Vrindavan Maharaj was very happy also. And Kirtida, she was also very happy. They did perform this Kanya Puja and everyone was very happy. And Vrindavan said, this is very nice puja. Yes, very nice. And so the was, yeah, very nice puja. And Nanda Baba said, yes, very nice puja. And Nanda Baba, he poked, because he can't ask, he's poked Sandil Rishi. Yes, very nice puja. Yes. Everyone was agreeing, very nice. And Sandil Rishi said, Nanda Baba poked him again. He said, yeah, but what? Something is missing? Well, no puja is complete without dakshina. Yes, you want dakshina? Shall I give gold? Shall I give silver? Shall I give pearls? Shall I give it? No, we don't need those things. Actually, what I need is a Kali Kamri. I'll immediately have one done. But we need it today. We had the one that you already have, that's fine. Yes, immediately. So he gave that Kali Kamri to Nanda Maharaj. Now Nanda Maharaj is happy. Yasoda Maharaj is also, Maharani is also very happy. So then they went back to Nandagam. And they had Mother Yasoda made a big function for handing over the cows to Krishna. Because in our Vedic culture, whenever there's a change in the life, then we have some type of spiritual function. Just like even from the very beginning, we have the Vivaha Sanskar, where the two people are married. Then there's Garbhadan Sanskar, then Jatakarna Sanskar, Vidya Aram Mundan Sanskar. So many sanskars are there. Birthday also, we perform some function. All the older people here can tell you that in their childhood, when there was birthday, their mother used to call the pandit. A pandit would come, he would do some yagya, some havan, and he would do some Gita Pad or Ramayan Pad. They would have some kirtan. But now we're forgetting all our old Vedic system. Now when there's birthday, then we copy the West. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. But because Prabhupada brought his mission to the West, now everywhere I go in the world, devotees are inviting the devotees to come to their house to do kirtan and distribution of prasad and fire sacrifice and all this thing to celebrate the birthday. We're going back. By Prabhupada's mercy, we're regaining our old Vedic culture. So Mother Yasoda, she had made a big function. And somewhere in that function, she gave Krishna some wooden shoes. We call karao. You've seen the wooden shoes with a little peg in the center. And she gave him an umbrella. And Lala said, Are Maya, what is this shoe and what is this umbrella? And Mother Yasoda said, Lala, now you'll need shoes because you're going very far in the forest and there may be so many thorns, there may be so many stones, there may be so much rough ground, so you require shoes. And you're going out, there may be rain, there may be hot, the sun may be too hot, so you'll need umbrella. And Lala said, Maya, and for my cows, you're going to give shoe and umbrella for my cows? You're going to give shoe and umbrella for my cows? Are Lala, why I should give shoe and umbrella for your cows? But Maya, the cow is very sacred. Are Lala, cow is sacred? Yes, Maya. All the 33 million demigods live in the body of the cow. She's very sacred. And Maya Yasoda said, Lala may be sacred, but where are you going to get so many shoes? 4 times 9, Nanda Baba has 9 lakhs of cows. Somebody out there can figure it out. How many shoes? And The cow can't carry an umbrella, so we have to get so many people to carry an umbrella. I'm not going to give you an umbrella for your cows. And Lala said, then you keep this thing with you. If my cow is going without shoe, I'm going without shoe. If my cow is going without umbrella, then I will go without umbrella. So in this way, Krishna walked all over this dust of Braj barefoot. And Sanatana Goswami in his commentary, he explains that even in Vaikuntha, Lord is wearing slippers. We have never seen Lord Narayan without his slippers in Vaikuntha. So this Brajadam is so special because here Krishna was walking barefoot. So special Dham. This dust is mixed with the lotus foot dust of Krishna. Therefore, when you come to Vrindavan, you see all the sadhus are walking barefoot. They're all hoping that maybe there's one speck of dust that Krishna walked on, and I'll step on that dust and my mera uddhar ho jayega, I'll be saved. So this is very special dust. So Lala said, you keep these things with you, I don't need. If my cow's going with that umbrella, I also go with that umbrella. So when the cows, Sanatana Goswami explains in his commentary that when the cows heard that Krishna was going to go barefoot because of them, they went in the night with their hard hooves and they smashed all of the stones and pebbles and rocks into very, very fine dust. Very fine dust. Therefore, when we come to Braj, we find so much dusty paths. We beg for those. Now they're paving over so many paths. Even Prikrama Marg now is all lost. You can go on Prikrama with cars and trucks and tractors and rickshaws and motorbikes and everything. But we used to walk on the soft dust of Braj. And so that we call Braj Raj. This dust of Braj we call Braj Raj, Brajaduli. And so many different varieties. Some is like red chandan. Some is like golden chandan. There's one, if you go to Unchigaon and you turn left, instead of going across the canal to Unchigaon, you turn left, you come to a place, that Raj, I call it the Johnson & Johnson baby powder Raj. The Johnson & Johnson baby, but it's so soft and fluffy. In fact, whenever I take Radhanath Swami there, he always wears a mask. It's like, now everybody's wearing masks. But he has to wear a mask because he says on the bottle, it says, for external use only. Because it's so fluffy, soft, Raj, best Raj, and Braj is there. So in this way, this was the Gopashtami festival of Nanda and Yasoda. And in Nandagam, they have a big festival on this day. In the morning, about 9 or 10 o'clock, they bring two boys dressed up just like Krishna and Balaram. And they sit them on the outside steps. You know, the temple is there, the deities are in the front, and then in the back there's a covered area, darshan area. Then there's some steps, they sit them on the steps. Everybody else is sitting under the hallway. That's all three sides, there's a hall. And they have old songbooks with big Hindi letters this big. And they're singing all these old Gopashtami songs, and people are worshiping Krishna. These two boys is Krishna and Balaram. And they're very beautiful, they call it singing samaj. All the Brahmins of Nandagam come in their best bugle bandis with nice silk pastel colors with silver and gold trim on their bugle bandis. And they're all singing very joyfully all these old Gopashtami songs and offering sweets and things to Krishna. Then they take Krishna and Balaram on their shoulders and they go to all the different temples on Nandagam Hill. Especially there's one Yashoda Nandan temple and so many temples. Then about 2 or 3 in the afternoon, they come to a place called Terkadam. Because Terkadam is favorite cow herding place of Krishna and Balaram. It's a little far because we heard the calf herding pastimes were near this village, but Terkadam was way out in the fields. And there's a beautiful, now our Terkadamba was made beautiful marble mandap and a beautiful marble throne. And they sit Krishna and Balaram on that marble throne, and behind there's a kadamba tree, brand new kadamba tree growing. And then all the Brishbazis sit facing each other, and they continue singing all these beautiful Gopastami songs back and forth and back and forth. And everyone is offering sweets to Krishna and Balaram. Now, Prabhupada explains that when they dress the children up like that, like Krishna and Balaram, they actually become Krishna and Balaram. Just like we have a deity made of metal, deity made of wood, deity made of paint, deity made of jewels, like that. This is deity made of bacha. This is deity made of little boy. So people come and offer their sweets, and Krishna and Balaram eating those sweets. Now every day we offer our boga to the Lord in our temple, or in our house we also have a little temple, and we offer the boga. Did we ever see Krishna eat? We never saw. We know he eats. Prabhupada told us, you say these prayers, you offer with love, you put tulsi leaf, and Krishna eats, but we never saw. Now Krishna and Balaram are there right in front of your eyes eating the sweets. This is the real Maha Prasad. And they offer that to Krishna and Balaram in front of everyone's eye eating it. Then those people try to distribute that Mahaprasad, and everybody's jumping over one another to get some of that real Mahaprasad. Then they take Krishna and Balaram back up to the temple, back to Nandagan. It's very, very wonderful. For at least one time in your life, you have to see this festival. Many times I've brought the devotees there for this wonderful festival. It's so much fun. Everybody jumping for the Mahaprasad. Also, Gopastami Day, especially in Mayapur, they dress Radharani up as a cowherd girl. I don't know that pastime so well. I only heard it once from Jananivas because we were asking why they were dressing Radharani like that. And I was sick, lying on my bed for 2 days, didn't do anything, so I should have done some research. But somehow or other, Radharani and all the Sakhis, they heard that Krishna is going to go out herding because before he was near the village, now he's going far with all the cowherd boys. So they were anxious. They wanted to get darshan of Krishna in his cowherding pastimes. So all the gopis, they secretly all dressed up like cowherd boys with a special type of dhoti, with the dhoti pulled between their legs, like the Marathi ladies in Bombay. So they all ran to the forest to see Krishna and mixed in with the cowherd boys to see Krishna's beautiful form herding all the cows. So therefore they dressed Radharani just like that, with her sari pulled between her legs like a dhoti. And they have charan darshan of Radharani. And Terkadam is such a sweet place. This is one of the last places of Braj, almost completely unspoiled, very natural place. If you go there, just like in the very beginning of lockdown, when they had the very strict lockdown and nobody was moving anywhere. And then after a few days, when we would go up on the guest house roof to walk, we could actually hear peacocks again. We never hear peacocks. We're in Vrindavan. That used to be the sign. I lived here for 35 years. When I came to Vrindavan, whenever we would go traveling Sankirtan, we'd come back. And in the night, then we'd hear the peacocks. One would start over here, then over here, That used to be a sign of being in Vrindavan. Now we don't hear them. But during lockdown, we started to hear peacocks again. And they were crying so sweetly. And the Vrishbhazis say that they're calling out, Megao, Megao, Megao. So some of you know Meg. Meg means cloud. And Ao, I think you all know, means come. Because especially, just like now, it's cold season, we don't hear the peacocks either. Today it got very cold. It got down to about 11, 12 degrees Celsius today, very cold. So we don't hear the peacocks, even if you're at the edge of Vrindavan where you can still hear them, you don't hear them during the cold season. So they're crying in the hot season, and they're crying, Megao, clouds come, they're It's too hot. Please come in clouds. Meow, meow. But Rupa Goswami, he tells something else. He said the peacocks are calling, Ke ka, Ke Radha, Ka Krishna. Actually, Rupa Goswami explains there's a deeper meaning. Ke, in Bengali, Ke means who. Just like remember when Sanatana Goswami met Lord Chaitanya at Dasaswamedha Ghat in Kashi, then he says, everyone thinks I'm a big scholar, big pundit, but I don't know, Kayami, who am I? Why this treetop, the threefold miseries are bothering me? So K means who? And Rupa Goswami explains, what is the question? Who is there who can possibly reciprocate with this Rasaras Sri Krishna? He's a great ocean of ras. He's Rasaras. And the answer is coming Ka. It is only she, Sri Radha, with her ocean of Mahabhav. She can reciprocate with that Rasaras Sri Krishna. And we know when the Mahabhav and the Rasaraj meet together, that is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So the peacocks are crying, and you can hear them at Terkadam, and the kokilas are singing. Even now, it's cold, so the kokilas stopped. But all during the warm season, you hear the kokilas. Then they start over. Then they have another song. Then their most famous song, even I have a difficult time to imitate, goes. And kokila, the female kokilas are very clever. Because when you hear the kokila, singing is so sweet. Actually, the Hindi poets, they say that this Bhagwan, he has no brain. He has created this peacock with so beautiful plumes, but his voice is just a squawk. And this kokila has so beautiful voice, and he's black as a crow. You'll never see the kokilas. They hide in the bakul trees where the foliage is very, very thick. You hear them, but you can't see them. But when you see them, you'll be disappointed. It's completely black as a crow. But voice is so sweet. And then there's another bird we call Jalmergy Waterfowl. He walks around, especially Vrindavan, they walk around the edge of the Kund, and then they sit one place and go. And there at Terkadam also, there's a big Kund. It used to be very sweet, but the government smashed all the trees and made a huge monster Kund. But we used to see them there also. But whenever two of them meet, they walk along the edge of the Kund. They have nice black suit and white starched shirt, and their tail goes bim, 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 as they walk around the Kund. But if two of them happen to meet, oh my goodness, that's almost inimitable. Quack, 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 quack. Then we have another one called Tetera. He's got long legs, and he's black and white and gray, and they walk around the Kund, hunting the little water bugs, and they make a beautiful sound. Titiw, titiw, titiw. So the Brishbhazis call him Tetera. Titiw. Then there's a little bird that runs along the ground. We call partridge. Prabhupada translates as francolin partridge. And they run along the ground. And you hear them early in the morning, because at night, they all fly up in the trees. Like the peacocks also at night, they climb in the trees. That's why you hear them all night. We used to hear them anyway, all night long in the trees, all around. And in the morning, then you hear this one, he's called Teeter, because he's making a sound. I'm coming down, I'm coming down. And then they run along the ground all day long. Anyway, Tirkadamba is a nice place. You see kadamba trees in the season, because Tirkadamba, he's got two deities of Krishna Balaram. He brings them out and keeps them in a kunj, beautiful kunj there, little shrine under the kunj. And you see Krishna Balaram with kadamba earrings, kundala, and kadamba garlands. And so beautiful fragrance comes. So this is a special special Gopastami place for herding the cows. And we heard Krishna has 9 lakhs of cows, and Krishna knows the names. 9 lakhs means 1 lakh is 100,000, so 9 lakhs, 900,000, almost 1 megabyte. And Krishna knows all their names. Sanatana Goswami in his Tika, he explains, or maybe it's Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, that they all have names according to the color, just like the white cows are called Davali, Sweta, and Hamsika, and Motika. Moti means pearl, Motika. And well, actually the one Daval means white, but the Brijbasis, they don't like sharp letters like V. So they smooth it into use, so they call Doli. And then they're funny, they change their R's and L's around, so it becomes Dori. Instead of Davali, they say Dori. Then there's the black cows, Kali, and Shamala, Shamangi, Krishnangi, Krishangi, and Jamuna. Because Jamuna is also blackish waters. Anybody's ever been to Prayag, then you can see Ganga is coming very golden color from this side, and Jamuna is coming very deep color from this side. And at the Sangam, you can actually see the waters mixing. So Kalindi is very dark color. So we have Kalindi, Jamune, they're the black cows. Then we have the golden cows, Gauri, Pingali, Suneri, all beautiful names like this, Pili, Pitambari. Then Krishna has the reddish cows, Lali, what is it? Udila, Aruni. Aruni is the name of the reddish cows. And even Saraswati is in the reddish cows, because we don't see the Saraswati River now, but from Shastra we learn she was reddish colors. So Saraswati is in the reddish cows. And Ganga, she's in the golden cows. We already told Ganga is always coming golden color. So this way, Terkadam is a very beautiful place. And we'll put our voice to rest here and see if anybody has any questions they would like me to try to answer for you. Again, I thank you for this opportunity to serve you in this way. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Deena Bandhu Prabhu. That was so relishable. And there are a few questions that are coming in, and I will ask them in a second. But I'll give your voice a minute's rest, because I'm going to share something on screen before that.
Okay.
So this bonus series of 2 sessions in Kartik that follows the 10-part series we just finished on the 9 processes of bhakti. This 2-part series starts today, or started today, and it's organized by the Bhakti Center in Manhattan, and it's co-hosted by several centers in the New Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania, and Virginia region. And you can see the names: Tobacco, Central New Jersey, New York, that's the Brooklyn Temple, 26 2nd Avenue, ISKCON of Bergen County, New Jersey, Richmond, Virginia, and then Geetanagari Eco Farm in Pennsylvania. These temples also have some wonderful sanghas that go on regularly, so you can check out their websites and attend the ones that inspire you. Sadly, most of us who are not Brajabasis, like Baba, we cannot expand our bodies and be in 2 or 3 or 4 places at once to hear the multiple kathas. But for that, there is YouTube. So you can check those sanghas out. This is bonus session number 1, which is happening right now. And next Saturday, same time, 9 o'clock New York time, 7:30 p.m. India, and a variety of times globally, we will have Madhavananda Prabhu live from Mayapur speaking about Krishna pastimes in Vrindavan. So please dial in for that. So with that, I'm going to start asking you a few questions. One question that came from Mexico, from Chandan, is, could you please describe the form of Krishna? We are told that it is blue, or dark blue. But how do the Brajabasis see Krishna's form? And could you talk about the blueness so that we can fix our minds on him?
Well, Nila means dark blue, but Krishna is very mysterious. Because ordinary black means that it's not very light. But at the same time, Krishna is shining. Therefore, we see all the artists, they make Krishna sometimes light blue, sometimes dark blue, sometimes this blue. So somebody asked Prabhupada, well, what is actually the color of Krishna? And Prabhupada, these are all artist conceptions. We cannot understand Krishna's blue color because it's black and it's very bright at the same time. He said, but these are all close enough that when you see Krishna, you'll recognize him.
Thank you. So another question.
We have a bird in Braj that's called Kanjan. You see that Kanjan? He's very dark blue. Because Radharani is known as Kanjanaksha. Because her eyes, sometimes I see, go to temples, I see they painted Radharani with light blue eyes like she's from Sweden or Switzerland or something. But Neel means very, very, very dark, like this Kanjan. He comes and he flits. He's almost like a hummingbird, but he's not really a hummingbird, but about that size. And he flits from one flower to another flower around the bushes in Vrindavan. And it's very dark, bluish, purplish, and it shines at the same time. Then you can understand. You'll have to come to Braj to understand and see the Kanjan bird. Then you know it's... Because Radharani, wherever she looks, she sees Krishna. So she sees that blackish, bluish color.
And I think you might have answered the next question I was going to ask as a follow-up from Devakinandan Prabhu in New Jersey. He said, if Krishna is blue, then why are our ISKCON deities mostly blackish in color? But I think you just answered that at the end. There's a special blackish, bluish.
Well, many of are just like Ras Bihari in Bombay are white. You're trying to see the deity as stone, but the deity is not stone, that's Krishna, no matter what color he is. Our Radha Gokulananda in London, he's also white.
Yep. Our Radha
even the Shringa.
Sorry, go ahead.
Even the Shringapoli, Nrsingadev is there as black, but we never saw a black lion. So these are all material visions. The deity is Krishna, whatever color it may be.
Thank you. Our Radha Muralidhar at the Bhakti Center, they're also whitish in color. Question from Gauravani Prabhu, the Kirtaniya that we all love. How to increase our taste for speaking and learning the Leelas of the Lord?
The easiest way is to study them, read them over and over again. I can remember in our young days in Krishna consciousness, every night we would sit and drink hot banana milk. That's been lost now, I think. I don't know anybody even knows what banana milk. In the old days, we come back from Sankirtan, we sit in the prasadam hall, and they take bananas and you crush them up with your fork, make them a cream, and you stir it into the milk and put in the honey, offer it to Krishna. Then we'd all sit drinking hot banana milk. And one devotee would always read stories of Krishna's pastimes. So the more we study those pastimes and the more we try to distribute, because it's both things. If you study, and it means automatically then you want to distribute. So studying, it's just like we chant. One time we listen, one time we chant. So same way, you read those Krishna's Leelas in Prabhupada's books, and you tell them to someone else. I mean, everybody's talking about Biden, Trump. Talk about Krishna. And you'll develop taste and eagerness to share and relish these pastimes.
Any particular books that you would recommend? Krishna book obviously is one. That's a follow-up question.
Of course, Krishna book. Then there's Gopal Champu and Ananda Vrindavan Champu, Kavi Karnapur. Gopal Champu is Jiva Goswami. These are wonderful books. It's like the Goswamis. There's nothing more rasic than Srimad Bhagavatam. That's supreme ras. But the Goswamis have taken that ras and mixed it with some more nectar, amrit. Just like you have so Bhagavatam is concentrated ras. Just like you have the orange juice concentrate. And then you mix it with water and it expands. So Gopal Champu and Ananda Vrindavan Champu, they've mixed it with amrit and expanded the ras, the concentrated ras, even more and more.
Thank you. And of course, your own Vrajalila 1 and Vrajalila 2, those books are full of leelas. Of course. We can buy them on Amazon in America. I don't know about the rest of the world. But I think
the rest of the world also.
On Amazon, they can be bought?
Yeah. Some places you can actually get the book. I know in America you can actually get a printed book, but many places you can only get Kindle. It depends on the place in the world. I know in India they don't sell the books.
Acha. Thank you. Those of us, the next question is, those of us who live outside Braj visit Vrindavan and we feel so enlivened. Then we come home and those memories fade away. Can you give us some advice on how we can keep these sweet memories and mood of Braj alive in our everyday lives, especially in the current situation when we cannot so regularly visit?
That's an interesting question. I was going to say the best way to always remember Vrindavan is to continue visiting, because Lord Chaitanya, he told Jagadananda begged so many times, and finally Mahaprabhu gave him permission to go. He said, you go there, you stay with Sanatana Goswami, and you see the forests of Braj with Sanatana Goswami. Don't mix closely with the Brishvasis, don't offend them either. You won't understand the platform that they're on, and you return. Because if you stay there, you'll forget. What is Vrindavan? So many people staying here in Vrindavan. Out of 100,000 people, maybe one actually meditating on the fact that I'm here in this Vrindavan. Everybody else busy eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. Familiarity breeds contempt. But if you come here and visit Vrindavan, stay with the devotee, see all the places with the devotee, then come home, then you'll always think, oh, I went to that wonderful place, Vrindavan. When can I go again? We went to Vrindavan with Deena Bandhu. We went to Terkada. We went to Gokul. We saw the place where the Damodar Leela happened. You'll always remember these places. And one who always remembers Vrindavan, he actually lives in Vrindavan. So you come regularly and visit and keep those memories alive somehow or other. And again, studying the books.
Thank you, Prabhu. You mentioned in your class that there is now so much pavement and covering in Vrindavan, and the dust of Vrindavan, the dusty pathways have been paved over, and we see so much development. At the same time, there is a conscious effort to bring as many people as possible to experience the magic of Vrindavan and to make it comfortable for people visiting from abroad, especially, and from the rest of India also. How do we reconcile these two polarities, opposite polarities, and how do you balance it out?
That's a very difficult thing because right now everything is the economy is based on greed and there's no control. And greed is a very powerful thing. So it's, to our material eyes, it appears so much covered over. But I remember just the same complaint when devotee was making to one of the shopkeepers of Braj. And the shopkeeper looked at him, and suddenly that shopkeeper looked off into space and said, Vrindavan, you don't see with the eyes, you see with the heart. Unfortunately, we're 50 years behind here. In the West, we did the same thing. We paved over so many places and made everything nice and shiny and bright. And then we realized that we're destroying all the natural places. Now we prohibit cars from certain places, and we keep nature paths and so many things. So right now, India is fascinated with their cars. When I came to India, there was only Ambassador and Fiat, this Padmini. Now everybody has a car, every type of car you can possibly. So everybody's in love with their cars. They're just paving everything for their car. They're 50 years behind. Now people are starting to get the consciousness that we should preserve nature. So it will come. But Vrindavan is still Vrindavan. No matter what, that covering is just Yogamaya keeping the atheists away. Vrindavan is Vrindavan.
Thank you. If there are, I've heard this expressed from different devotees, that not just on this program, but there are a couple of questions that said, devotees would like to help make the dham more, devotional and keep it clean and so on. How can devotees who don't live in Braj help in that effort?
Well, there's one organization that I respect very much trying to keep Braj clean. That's Friends of Vrindavan, run by my very dear friend Jagannath Poddar. So he's also on Facebook, and he does a lot of work cleaning up the garbage around Braj. Right now I can't think of other organizations, but he's the chief one, Deena Bandhu or Friends of Vrindavan. But it's uphill battle because that environmental consciousness hasn't. Right now we're just enamored of our material advancement and our cars and everything. So it's going to take some time before people start to get that consciousness that we have to balance these things, like you said. Now it's all imbalance. It's all gung-ho for the car. Everything is made for the car.
Thank you.
But it's coming.
Can we go on for a few more minutes? I don't want to tax your health too much. I know you're still recovering.
If there's more questions, then we can, a few more minutes we can go.
Okay, thank you so much. So one question that came in, this devotee asked, it is so encouraging that Krishna knows each and every of his 900,000 cows by name. That shows how he's always so personal and attentive to each and every devotee. And of course, we read in Brihad Bhagavatamrita also how Krishna is waiting for Gopakumar to come back, and he's waiting for all of us to come back. So how do we remember this while we are in our day-to-day lives? And can you expand on this idea of Krishna knowing every living entity by name? So it's not like he just looks out at a massive gathering of devotees and looks at us impersonally, but he's actually very personal in his dealings with us.
What can I say? Krishna is unlimited, so he's able to see each and every one of us, and he's since we're actually his, we're all very dear to him. The only way we can become aware of this, of course, is by our sadhana, keeping very strict sadhana, chanting our rounds, attending Mangalarti, associating with the Vaishnavas as much as we can. All of these things will awaken our hearts to Krishna's kindness and compassion. And we should serve Vaishnavas, then automatically we'll see. When we find out how much fun it is to serve Vaishnavas, we'll see why Krishna is anxious to serve the Vaishnavas also.
Thank you so much. So Venkata Bhatta Prabhu and our dear world famous photographer Arjun Bhattacharya, Deena Bandhu Prabhu's personal assistant, and he's like a son to him. They both put links to Deena Bandhu Prabhu's books in the Zoom chat. So Vrajalila 1 and 2, which you can get on Amazon. And then also Madhurya Kadambini, which Deena Bandhu Prabhu has translated from Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Pad's work. So you can get those books on Amazon. They're full of nectar. One other question. When hearing all these intimate pastimes of Radha and Krishna and their friends, and how these relationships are so imbued with sweetness and love, how do we hear them in the proper mood and not misunderstand them to be mundane? We have heard from several speakers, great speakers, that when hearing Hari Katha, we should try to be in the Katha, not listen as a distant observer. But how do we avoid becoming mundane because our minds are not pure yet?
Well, that's why Prabhupada said that 10th canto should be heard before all the other 9 cantos should be heard first. But then he presented Krishna book. So we should hear from an authorized pure devotee. Because many people are just, in Braj they call it Bhagavad business. So if we hear from the pure devotees of the Lord, Prabhupada said, all my disciples are pure devotee. Sometimes we idealize it too much, but anyone who's just serving Krishna for Krishna's pleasure, not for trying to get profit, adoration, and distinction. If we hear from such types of devotees, then we can hear even the intimate pastimes. But generally, the intimate pastime should not be publicly recited. So generally, we don't recite those pastimes in public or in programs like this. But even we can, just like Prabhupada presented Rasa Leela in the middle of Krishna book. But he made very certain that we understand exactly what Krishna's situation is, so that we don't make offense. So we have to hear from the devotees, proper devotees.
Thank you. We'll close with 2 more questions. So if
All right.
please forgive me for not taking the other questions that have come in or might come in. So there are a few questions around how do we visualize or think of oneself being in the presence of Krishna and serving him in a personal way, but avoid the extreme danger of sahajism.
The best way to do that is to serve Vaishnavas, because to serve Krishna, even Prabhupada one time, the devotee said, oh Prabhupada, you're such a great devotee. He said, no, I'm not devotee, I'm just servant of Krishna. And then he shook his head. He said, no, servant is a very high position. So we don't know who is Krishna. We don't know how to please him, but we can see the devotees. If somehow or other we can serve the Vaishnavas in any way, then we will be gradually develop our love for Krishna.
Jai, thank you. And then the final question is about Vipralambha and about the feelings of separation from Krishna that the Brajabasis experience. So Krishna spent less than 11 years in Vrindavan, and then he went to Mathura and he spent almost another 11 years there, and then he went to Dwarka. He never came back to Vrindavan, at least externally. Of course, we are told that he never leaves Vrindavan, but that's on an internal or aprakat form. So how do we understand that he never came back even externally to visit his parents and to visit the gopis and so on?
Well, I can't remember who it was, he explained, one of the acharyas explains that Krishna was just like at the Prem Sarovar pastime. Krishna saw that one bumblebee was bothering Radharani, and Madhumangal chased it away, and he came back and he was shouting, oh, Madhusudan, because Madhusudan means bumblebee. He said, Madhusudan is gone, he will never return. As soon as Radharani heard that Madhusudan is gone, she took it as Krishna. She's sitting right next to Krishna in the Kunj at Prem Sarovar. But there's a type of Vipralambha that's even present in union. She's sitting with Krishna, she's united with Krishna, but as soon as she heard that Krishna is gone, he'll never return, there's that fear of separation. That fear of separation expanded so much that she couldn't even see she was sitting with Krishna. She began to call out, "Oh, Sham, where are you?" And Sham, hearing Radharani cry like that in separation, that fear of separation in his heart expanded. He began to call out for Radharani, and all the gopis were shocked. And they began to chant, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And they came back, and then Krishna realized that even in my presence, Radharani feels so much pain. And as long as I'm with her, her love for me increases. As long as her love increases, she feels so much pain. So that next day, Akrura came and took Krishna away, because he was feeling that if I stay here any longer, their love will grow so much that they will feel their pain will also increase. So he went away. But actually, as we were discussing, Krishna didn't go away. He went deep into the Brajvasis' hearts. So we were seeing from the outside that they're suffering, but within their hearts, they were seeing Krishna, hearing Krishna, smelling Krishna. They were experiencing Krishna 24 hours a day. They were not at all just like I remember. I joined in Boulder, Colorado, in the Rocky Mountains. We used to go to Denver. You can imagine it being at the foot of the Rocky Mountains at the winter time. This time of year, it snows, and we were out there in the snow chanting, and it was so cold. All we could do was completely meditate on Krishna's name. Otherwise, we forgot Krishna's name. We just, what am I doing here? We were just, and all the devotees were smiling. Everyone else was on the street pulling their overcoats, grimacing, like that. The devotees were smiling for ear to ear because we were just concentrating on the holy name. In fact, one girl, she was so shocked, she stood there watching us, and we were the only people on the street smiling, and her fingers started to turn blue. She went inside the shop, bought some mittens, and came back and continued to watch us. And then later she came to the temple and became a devotee. So externally it appears that Krishna is separated and the devotees are suffering, but within their hearts the devotees are relishing. And one time the senses are engaged outward, another time the senses are engaged inward. That's the only difference. All right, we'll put our voice to rest here. Yes. We thank you very much for this opportunity to serve you. And we hope this thing will get over soon and you can come back and be in Braj with us, and we can show you all these places.
Yes, if it's okay, Deena Bandhu Prabhu, we will open up Zoom in about a minute or less for devotees to say a quick Haribol to you, so you can see them if that's okay, and I'll hand back to the Garanga Prabhu. But I want to thank you and pray that we can all be back with you on Vraj Parikrama very soon.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you again, Deena Bandhu, so much. And thank you all for tuning in all over the world. Grateful to have you with us. As a reminder, please tune in next week, same time, same Zoom link. We'll have His Grace Madhavananda with us. In the chat board here, if anybody would like to stay in touch, we have a variety of ways that you can keep in touch with programs like this and other events offered and organized through the Bhakti Center. We have our newsletter, WhatsApp group, YouTube, Instagram, and of course our regular website. So please feel free to check out any of those links. If you'd like to understand about ways you can support and ways that you can understand what we're planning for 2021, we have a fundraiser event coming up at the end of this month, December 1st. That event is also there in the chat board. So thank you again, Deena Bandhu, for being with us. We're so grateful that despite not feeling well, we're so grateful that you do not have COVID, that you're feeling better, that you're with us. And if anybody would like to share their warm Haribols and Jai Shri Radhes, please feel free to unmute yourself now and share your love and gratitude with Deena Bandhu.
Haribol! Thank you so much, much, Deena
Lord.
Bandhu, for taking us to Braj. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Oh,
Krishna Krishna, Hare
Krishna.
Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Radhe,
Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe Baba.
Well,
Thank you so much.
Hare Bol. For you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Bol, Radhe
Krishna.
Radhe
Hare
Prabhu.
Krishna.
Dhanyavad.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Ah,
Hare Bol, Radhe Radhe.
ah.
Dhanwad.
Hare Krishna, Deena Bandhu Prabhu, our
Hare
obeisances to you.
Krishna. Hare Krishna Dinavandhu Prabhu.
Dhanwad,
Hey,
Dhanwad.
that's
Hare Bol.
Guruvani.
Hare Krishna.
Haribo.
Hare Bol.
Radhe Radhe Baba.
Radhe Radhe.
Radhe,
Dhanwad,
Radhe.
Dhanwad.
Haribol Deena Bandhu Prabhu.
Jai Shri Radhe.
Thank you. Shila
Srila
Prabhupada
Prabhupada
ki
ki
Jai.
jai.
Deenabandhu Prabhu ki jai.
Jai.